Hey, it's Airsoft Mike and I'm here today with something a little different, but oh so cool. It's the Airsoft clone of the Blackhawk Serpa Holster, the one for the GLOCK 17 or 22. Okay, so let's get this package open. As you can see here, it does say Blackhawk, but trust me, this is the Airsoft clone version. But from what I'm hearing and from what I can see inside this package in here, it looks and feels pretty decent. So let's get it open. Okay, so what do we get in the package? Of course, you get the holster itself. And already attached to this holster is this paddle right here. It also comes with this belt attachment and some other little bits and pieces here, and I'll show you what these are for in a moment. So back to this holster. The holster itself is made out of ABS. It feels nice and sturdy. It looks exactly like the real steel version. It has the Serpa retention or locking system right here. What else? As I've shown you already, it's got the paddle on there, and from these screws here and the little slots either side of this screw and beneath this screw and beneath that screw, that tells me that this can be angled at different positions, which is pretty cool and just like the real steel. I'll come back to this paddle in a moment. Let's just get straight on to the main piece itself, which is this holster. It is designed for the GLOCK 17 and GLOCK 22, and I will say right now, this CQC holster is designed specifically for the Airsoft GLOCK 17 and 22, so it should fit those beautifully. Whether or not this fits the real steel version remains to be seen. I will say now, this is purely an Airsoft product. This is an Airsoft channel. If a real steel Glock fits in this, then whatever. I'm not going to promote that right here. All I'm going to say to you now is this is perfect for Airsoft. Let me show you. So right here, I have in my hand one of the most realistic looking Airsoft GLOCK 17s by HK3P. But will this bad boy fit this holster? Right, so before I go any further, just for safety reasons, I'm just going to make sure that 1, there are no BBs in the mag, and 2, that there's no BBs in the chamber, in the gun, at all, anywhere, so it is completely safe. So here we have the CQC holster. Looks exactly like the real steel version. Very nice indeed. The only thing I will say straight away, the way you can tell that this is the actual Airsoft clone version, I don't know if it's picking up on the camera, but if you look very closely, you should see a seam along here. But on the real steel version, there is no seam. Right, so let's get to it. Will it fit? Oh yeah, nice. Fits very snugly. Right, so let's take a look at this Serpa retention system right here. Now, Serpa refers to the surname of the man that developed this particular system. And guess what his first name is? Michael. Yeah, just like mine. Anyway, his name is Michael Serpa. He developed this. There was a lot of controversy about this particular system. I'll talk about that in a moment. But first, let's see if it works. Right, so imagine you're out there during gameplay and you decide you want to rest your primary for a few minutes and you want to move to your sidearm. You've got this bad boy on your side being held very nicely and snugly and securely, might I add. Look, I can shake this as much as I want. This is not falling out of this holster until you press this retention button or system right here. So, will it work? Well, the first thing I will say is never arch your finger like that to press this retention button right here. Because, and this is where I'll get into the controversial side of this particular system, because, you know, I do my research and I do read stuff and actually speak to people who carry the real steel version of this for their profession, and they will tell you some stories of people who have bent their finger like that, pressed this in to release their Glock, and because their finger is already bent, they press, they release, and their finger accidentally slams onto the trigger and bang, accidental discharge. What I would say is my finger, due to muscle memory, will now always be in this position, straight, and as you will see in a moment again, will be above the trigger, not in line with the trigger, which will be somewhere around here, which you'll see once I've taken this pistol out of the holster. So my finger's up here. There is no reason at all to bend your finger to press this. You can actually, bang, put your finger right there. I'm gonna hold on to this because I've got to simulate right now this actually being on a secure belt. So I'm gonna hold on to this. I'm just gonna press down onto it and I can take the pistol out, and look where my finger is, above the trigger. It is nowhere near the actual trigger itself, which is down here. Then of course, you can then bring your finger down and engage. So I just want to show you again how securely this holster, even though it's an Airsoft clone, holds onto your pistol very nicely, and you get that very satisfying click when you push it in. Oh boy, can I say that differently? You get that satisfying click when you holster your pistol. Nice. Okay, so what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna put this on my belt using the already attached paddle. Then afterwards, I'm gonna show you how to use this belt attachment. Okay, so with this belt attachment right here, quite simple how it works really. You get your belt and you simply just weave it in like so. So it sits like that. But then you're probably wondering, but look at all that give there. It goes up and down, that's not very secure. Well, they thought of that as well. So do you remember me showing you a little package and it had all these other little bits and pieces in there? Well, that's where these come into play. You get 2 of these and 2 little screws. You put this on there like so. It's flexible, so you bend it over. So let's just show you. So you can see there now it's wrapped over the edge, okay? And you just put one of the little screws in there until you have something like this. And once both of them are in, don't tighten them too tight just yet, because obviously what you want to do is weave your belt through, and whatever the width of your belt is, you move these up so that they're touching it, so they're nice and snug. Then you tighten these up and you get this. Now obviously, before you put your belt in, you need to attach the holster. Now as you can see, the paddle is already attached to this holster. The paddle has the same sort of system on the back here as the actual belt attachment that I just showed you. Can you see there? So you can see basically where you would remove the screws from this one and put them on here instead and put your belt through. Now as you can see here, there is scope for you to, as I mentioned before, position this paddle so that your gun or your pistol is at different angles, and you would simply do that by loosening these screws here, and just moving this to whatever angle you want and tightening these screws again. Right now it's positioned so that once it's on your belt, it is pointing down directly. So once you've repositioned your paddle, it can be like that, or even more so like that. And I do believe there is also an attachment you can buy so that you can put this on your plate carrier. Now another little thing I want to show you where there is a difference between this Airsoft replica and the actual real steel paddle and holster is these things right here. These are basically there so that once you put your belt through, it's not going to slip up and down. Now on the original Blackhawk, these little things right here, they're actually adjustable. They can go up and down to suit your belt size, just like on the belt attachment that I showed you a moment ago. But on this particular paddle one, it's not there. You've just got these fixed ones right here. But don't despair, because the space between there and the top of the paddle right here is your standard belt size, and I'll show you. And there you have it. Look, I've got the same exact belt into this paddle now, and look, see these bits right here, there and there? They're sitting neatly beneath the belt, and the top of the belt is at the top of the paddle. So there is no give whatsoever. So when you're holstering the pistol or removing the pistol from the holster, your paddle is not going to go up and down. Your holster is not going to go up and down. So that is nice. Now, obviously on the real steel version of this particular paddle, these are adjustable so you can put larger belts. But hey, this is Airsoft. This is a standard size belt and it fits perfectly. So in this segment of the video, I'm going to show you exactly how you put this paddle onto your belt and into your trousers. Trousers, I hear you say? Okay, pants. I know some people say pants. Well, we say trousers, tomatoes, let's call the whole thing off. Anyway, yeah, so this is how you do it. This part here, yes, this flexible part of the paddle, that part goes down into your pants or trousers. And this part here, as I've showed you earlier, that's the bit that engages with your belt. And yes, I know I changed my t-shirt. I decided to change it into a tactical black t-shirt instead, instead of the blue one. So I'm just gonna put the paddle in. So I'm gonna, literally, that goes in to your pants or trousers. And as you can see there, that part right there is gonna hook nicely onto the belt and not move at all. Right, so here's the holster on my belt. Let me just holster the pistol. Nice click. So now you know the retention is working, that's not going anywhere. And simply to take the gun out of the pistol, as I mentioned before, nice straight finger. Really no need to be having your finger like that. Nice straight finger, press against it and the pistol's out. Let me show you that again, and please take note where my finger is. I simply press against it, pull the pistol out, and as you've noticed, the holster itself has not moved or come off my belt. Now you see where my finger is, right here. Naturally, it will always sit there just beneath the slide. It's not on the actual trigger guard itself, so there is no risk of me, when I'm pulling it out, especially if I keep my finger straight, of accidentally pulling the trigger. And of course, when you're ready, you put your finger down and engage. And another cool thing about this Airsoft holster, just like the real steel, it has this speed cut design right here. What's a speed cut design? Well, I'll show you. You're in your CQB situation, you've got your pistol, your sidearm by your side, you're ready to pull it from the holster, so you engage your retention system right here, you press it as you're pulling the pistol out. At that point right there, you can then start to angle your pistol towards your target. So with some holsters, they don't have this speed cut design right here. So literally this part of the holster right here comes all the way up to there. So you don't have that speed cut design. So you literally would have to pull your pistol out all the way up to that point before you can start to aim at your target. As I've just shown you with the speed cut design, no such nonsense. As soon as you are pulling your pistol out and as it gets to that point, you can start to angle your pistol out of the holster towards your target. Now, throughout this video, I've been saying repeatedly that this holster is for your Glock 17 and your Glock 22. Well, guess what? This, my friends, is a Glock 19. But will it fit in this holster for the Glock 17 and 22? Yes, nice. And the retention system is just as effective. It is not going anywhere. Nice, I really do like that. Another cool feature of this holster, and a nice safety feature too, is that the holster completely covers your trigger guard, so there is no chance whatsoever of you accidentally engaging your trigger. Now, we've already seen that this is perfect for your Glock 17. And of course, we've just seen that it also fits your Glock 19, but it is advertised for your Glock 17 and 22. But the fact that it fits the Glock 17, shouldn't it also fit the Glock 18? Nice. So far we have seen this is suitable for your Glock 17, your Glock 19, and your Glock 18. So there you go, people. This is the CQC holster for your Airsoft Glock 17 and 22 and 18 and possibly other Glock models. This particular Airsoft version is made out of ABS. It comes complete with a paddle and belt loop attachment. It's adjustable for different angles and also has a workable lock and auto retention system. So my first impressions, very nice. Very similar to the real steel version. If you fancy yourself one of these, head over to tinywind.com. I've placed the link down in the video description. That link will take you directly to the product and you'll be able to see the latest price on this holster. Of course, I've got to take it out there in gameplay, use it a few times, and then do a follow-up review at a later date. But for now, thanks to tinywind.com for sending this product out to me. I'm Airsoft Mike. I'm out of here. I say tomato, you say tomatoes. I say Glock, you say Glock. Glock, 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 Glock. Let's call the whole thing off. So there you have it, people. If you're looking for an alternative, more affordable, 3, 2, 1, go. So there you have it, people. If you're looking for an affordable alternative holster for your Airsoft games, you couldn't really go much for... 3, 2, 1. What the f*** was that? 3, 2, 1, go. So there you go, people. This is the CQC holster for the Glock 17 and 22 and other mod. You've got to be kidding me.